And Europe, all of a sudden, wants to start a war, and if it does start a war, then very rapidly there might be a situation where we have no one to negotiate with.
When Russian President Vladimir Putin warned that if Europe starts a fight, it would soon escalate to a point where Russia has no one to negotiate with, the remark was not an abstract threat, but a calculated signal grounded in Russia's evolving nuclear posture. What gives him the confidence to make such a statement is the deployment of the RS-28 Sarmat, a fifth-generation intercontinental ballistic missile system that represents the centerpiece of Russia's nuclear triad. The Sarmat is designed to ensure that escalation dominance rests firmly with Moscow, leaving adversaries with no credible path to either defense or negotiation once hostilities cross a certain threshold. The missile's development began in the 2000s, with its first stage engine tested in 2016 and flight trials commencing in 2017. Putin publicly introduced the system in 2018, presenting it as the successor to the R-36M Voyevoda, which had been in service since the late Soviet period. The Sarmat is entirely Russian-made, a point repeatedly emphasized by the leadership to highlight self-reliance in defense production. Its first successful flight test took place in April 2022, striking designated targets at the Kura range in Kamchatka. Serial production was announced later that year, and by November 2025, Putin confirmed that systems equipped with the Sarmat would enter experimental combat duty, with full deployment scheduled for 2026.
We have equipped our intercontinental ballistic missiles used on our submarines with systems to overcome the adversaries' anti-air systems. And in fact, soon the heavy intercontinental Sarmat missile will be put into service.
The missile specifications explain why it underpins Putin's confidence. With a range of 18,000 kilometers, a launch weight exceeding 200 tons, and a payload capacity of about 10 tons, the Sarmat can deliver up to 10 multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicles. Its trajectories can pass through outer space, including routes over the South Pole, making interception virtually impossible. Western analysts have described it as unparalleled in scale and capability, noting that its combination of range, payload, and potential hypersonic delivery systems places it beyond the reach of current missile defense technologies. Russian designers themselves call it the largest combat missile in human history. Putin's statement about escalation reflects the logic of deterrence embedded in the Sarmat. By ensuring that Russia can strike anywhere in the world with overwhelming force, the missile removes the possibility of adversaries relying on defensive systems to contain escalation. In such a scenario, negotiation becomes irrelevant because the destructive potential of the Sarmat guarantees that any war would move beyond conventional boundaries into existential territory. This is the foundation of Putin's warning. If Europe initiates hostilities, Russia's response would be so decisive and catastrophic that there would be no political entity left capable of bargaining. The Sarmat, therefore, functions not only as a weapon but as a political instrument. Its existence allows Putin to frame his rhetoric from a position of strength, signaling that Russia retains escalation dominance in any confrontation with NATO. The missile's ability to bypass defenses and deliver precision strikes against hardened targets ensures that Russia can credibly threaten outcomes that adversaries cannot mitigate. This credibility is what transforms Putin's words from mere rhetoric into a strategic message. In the broader context, the Sarmat reflects Russia's determination to reinforce its nuclear triad as a guarantee of military security and global stability. Putin has described the triad as the result of long-term efforts by enterprises, design bureaus, engineers, and specialists across both military and civilian sectors. By integrating the Sarmat into this structure, Russia ensures that its deterrent remains effective against evolving technologies and doctrines. The missile's deployment is thus both a technical achievement and a strategic signal, underscoring Russia's readiness to escalate any conflict beyond negotiation if provoked. Putin's confidence in declaring that escalation would leave Russia with no one to negotiate with is inseparable from the operational reality of the Sarmat. It is the embodiment of Russia's deterrence doctrine, a system designed to guarantee that any adversary contemplating war must reckon with consequences that cannot be contained or bargained away. In this sense, the Sarmat is not only a missile, but the material foundation of Russia's strategic posture, explaining why Putin can issue warnings that carry weight far beyond rhetoric.